Revelation 13. In the previous chapter, we saw a dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns who attempted to intercept the promised child and subsequently persecuted the woman who gave birth to the child. We saw numerous indicators which pointed to the Jewish context of that chapter and its events, with the woman finally receiving supernatural assistance to reach a place of protection prepared by God. Revelation 12:6, 14. Since the dragon could not destroy the woman, he became enraged and went off to make war with the rest of her offspring. Now, the scene shifts to describe a beast who also has 7 heads and 10 horns, who is closely identified with the dragon. He and another beast institute a series of satanically empowered deceptions which bring the whole world under the sway of the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns, and ultimately Satan. This is the rise of the Antichrist, whose activities are key to the 70th week of Daniel. By now, the restrainer has been taken out of the way, resulting in the departure of the church in the rapture. Thus, believers today will not see the rise of the beast and the events of this chapter, for they are to watch for the imminent return of Christ, not the rise of Antichrist. Even so, multitudes will come to faith during this period of intense persecution as the message of the various witnesses which God has specially equipped for the time of the end goes forth. Revelation 7:4-8, Revelation 11:3-12, Revelation 14:6. The beast out of the sea. Revelation verse 1 New International Version. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I saw a beast coming out of the sea. It had 10 horns and 7 heads, with 10 crowns on its horns, and on each head a blasphemous name. Revelation verse 1 King James Version. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Revelation verse 1 explained. And the dragon stood on the sand of the seashore. Then I saw a beast. Some translations, for example KJV, say I stood on the sand, which would mean that John is placing himself within the vision. I believe there are reasons to prefer the translations that depict the dragon standing on the shore. It is unusual and apparently purposeless for John himself to be part of the vision given to him. It flows better out of the previous chapter to see this as a continuation of the dragon's activities. It flows better into this chapter to see the dragon taking part in the raising of these 2 beasts, because the context will show that these beasts serve Satan's purposes. In either case, the first sentence makes it clear that the beast, while closely aligned with the dragon, is distinct from the dragon. Coming up out of the sea. Recall that back in Rev 11:7, Antichrist is described as the beast who came out of the abyss. Evidently in this context, the abyss and the sea refer to the same place. The term beast encompasses more than just the man who becomes the future king. It also includes his kingdom and the demonic influence upon that king. In the NA 28 Greek text, chapter 12 has an 18th verse, whereas some English translations will put 12:18 as part of 13:1 or 12:17. Also there is a textual variant of St, with some manuscripts having the first person St instead, which would mean that it was John standing on the shore. However, St is the preferred reading with the stronger manuscript support and given the flow of the text from 12:13 to 17, continuing the thought of dragon from verse 17 who went to make war with the woman's seed. This is how he made war, by bringing up the beast from the sea. It would then be a logical flow for the dragon to be standing on the shore. The dragon standing on the seashore is the beginning of what John saw in the vision in chapter 13 and not the end of the preceding vision in chapter 12. The beast out of the sea. The dragon stood on the shore of the sea, and I stood upon the sand of the sea. Some manuscripts read, the dragon stood on the shore of the sea. Others read I, meaning John, stood upon the sand of the sea. The dragon is clearly the malevolent power behind the rise of the beast. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. 2 Thessalonians 2:7. Although elsewhere sand denotes an innumerable company, the sand of the sea does not mean the seashore in scriptural language. The sand always represents an innumerable company, as will be easily seen by a comparison of the passages from the time when God promised Abraham's seed as the sand of the sea in multitudes. The sea is clearly shown as a symbol of the restless nations of the earth. Further in this prophecy we will see that the many waters are peoples, multitudes, nations, and tongues. Revelation 17:15. I saw a beast coming out of the sea. The beast in Revelation combines all of the world governments together into one world government. That government will pridefully set itself up in opposition to God under the leadership of one man, the Antichrist. The Antichrist will most likely come from a Mediterranean country, the countries most likely being Italy, Greece, Israel, or Egypt. more likely Italy, or Israel, having 7 heads. The beast has 7 heads. The heads represent 7 world kingdoms which culminate in the beast as the 7th, which had not yet come in John's day. Revelation 17:10. This is not a matter of conjecture, for this same beast with 7 heads is ridden upon by the harlot, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. Revelation 17:3. We are told that the 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. They are 7 kings. Revelation 17:9-10. One of the heads of the beast receives a deadly wound which is healed. Revelation 13:3. This revived head is considered as the 8th, and is of the 7, and is going to perdition. Revelation 17:11. The terminology describing the beast indicates he is both a kingdom and its representative leader, the king, and 10 horns. The 10 horns are identified for us. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings who have received no kingdom as yet, but they will receive authority for 1 hour as kings with the beast. These are of one mind, and they will give their power and authority to the beast. Revelation 17:12-13. These are the 10 horns which Daniel saw upon the 4th terrible beast in his night vision. Daniel 7:7-20, which are also said to be 10 kings. Daniel 7:24. The beast ridden by the harlot also has 10 horns. Revelation 17:3. And the 10 horns which you saw on the beast, these will hate the harlot, make her desolate and naked, eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put it into the hearts to fulfill his purpose. Revelation 17:16, 17:17. Initially, the beast supports the harlot and she rides upon, or controls, him. Eventually the 10 kings who are allied with the beast will turn on the harlot, throw her off and destroy her. Revelation 17:16. On his horns, 10 crowns, unlike the dragon which wears crowns on its heads. Revelation 12:3. The beast's crowns are on its horns. The dragon's crowns are associated with historical kingdoms of which this beast is one. The beast has crowns on each of his 10 horns, indicating the rule of the 10 contemporaneous kings associated with the last head or kingdom. These 10 horns are the same as those of the last terrible beast, of Daniel's 4 beasts. Daniel 7:7. Upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Micro SS. ASF. Micron. A. Onoma blasphemies, a name blasphemous. An indication of his character. Daniel described this individual who shall exalt and magnify himself above every god, shall speak blasphemies against the God of gods, and shall prosper till the wrath has been accomplished. For what has been determined shall be done. Daniel 11:36. He is also noted for his mouth speaking great things against God. Daniel 13:5. Revelation verse 2. The beast I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth like that of a lion. The dragon gave the beast his power and his throne and great authority. Revelation verse 2 explained, I saw resembled a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and a mouth like that of a lion. The characteristics of the first 3 beasts in Daniel's night vision contribute to this beast of the end. Daniel 7:4-6. The 4th terrible beast seen by Daniel is not mentioned because this beast is the embodiment of that terrible beast at the time of the end. Daniel wrote from the standpoint of the Jewish people, whose fate under the Gentile empires to come would affect the first coming of Messiah. Revelation, written under the 4th and last of these empires, presumably after the Jewish Commonwealth had been crushed, takes this picture of Gentile world power from Daniel and combines these 4 empires onto the picture of the future world state. The magnificence of Babylon, the vastness of Medo-Persia, the dominating culture of Greek Macedonia, and the organizing might of Rome are united in one state that will aspire to world domination and that will achieve it. The order in which the attributes are listed, leopard then bear then lion, are reversed from what Daniel saw. This reflects John's different vantage point. Daniel, living in the days of the lion beast, Babylon, looked forward in time to see the rise of the bear, Medo-Persia, and then the leopard, Greece. John, writing in the time of the first phase of the terrible beast, Rome, looked backward in time to see them in reverse order. The mention of the leopard, bear, and lion in connection with the beast arising from the sea is in concert with what Daniel was shown concerning the continuation of Babylon, Medo-Persia, and Greece and their contribution to the final form of world government. As for the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and a time. Daniel 7:12. When the stone representing the Messianic kingdom strikes the image of Nebuchadnezzar's dream, all the metals of the image are demolished together, the iron, the clay, the bronze, the silver, and the gold were crushed together. Daniel 2:35. It broke in pieces the iron, the bronze, the clay, the silver, and the gold. Daniel 2:45. Thus, Attributes of all the kingdoms are found in this last beast. Many understand this final kingdom to be a revived Rome. This view is based on continuity expressed in Nebuchadnezzar's dream. The 10 toes of the image are on its feet, which are partly of iron, which symbolizes Rome, whereas you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron. The kingdom shall be divided. Yet the strength of the iron shall be in it, just as you saw the iron mixed with ceramic clay, and as the toes of the feet were partly of iron and partly of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly fragile. As you saw iron mixed with ceramic clay, they will mingle with the seed of men. But they will not adhere to one another, just as iron does not mix with clay. And in the days of these kings the God of heaven will set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people. It shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Daniel 2:41-44. Adding to this identification is the fact that Daniel is only shown 4 beasts prior to the kingdom being given to the Son of Man, Daniel 7:11-14. In some sense, this last kingdom of the end must be a continuation of Rome. The final world empire will be in some sense a revival of the Roman Empire. The iron legs and 10 toes of the statue in Daniel 2, but will far exceed it both in power and extent. It will be much more than a European confederacy. It will cover the entire world. It is also clear that all the previous kingdoms contribute to its characteristics. When John is told one kingdom is, Revelation 17:10, it is Rome which is in view, the next kingdom has not yet come. He wonders how Rome can be both 21, yet the continuity between Rome of John's day and the form of kingdom represented by the rise of the beast is strongly inferred by the continuance of Daniel's 4th beast until the time of the end, when it is predicted to devour the whole earth. Daniel 7:23. Moreover, in the famous prophecy of Daniel's 70 weeks, Daniel was told that the people of the prince who is to come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary. Daniel 9:26. This prophecy was fulfilled in the destruction of Jerusalem and the temple in 70 AD by Rome. Thus, the prince to come has a Roman origin. These passages argue for some form of continuity between Rome and the initial beast kingdom of the end. This should not be overemphasized since attributes of the other 3 beasts are also found in it. As we progress in this chapter, we will see God sovereignly grant permission for this beastly empire to attain authority by way of empowerment from the dragon. Hosea was shown these beasts and how they would be used to tear Israel to cause her to turn back to God. When they had pasture, they were filled. They were filled and their heart was exalted. Therefore they forgot me, so I will be to them like a lion. Like a leopard by the road I will lurk. I will meet them like a bear deprived of her cubs. I will tear open their rib cage, and there I will devour them like a lion. The wild beast shall tear them. O Israel, you are destroyed, but your help is from me. I will be your king. Where is any other, that he may save you in all your cities? And your judges to whom you said, give me a king and princes, I gave you a king in my anger, and took him away in my wrath. Hosea 13:6-11. The lion, bear, leopard, and wild beast correspond to the world empires among which Israel is to be scattered and persecuted. Daniel 7, during the time that she is in dispersion until she will be regathered by her covenant-keeping Lord. Ezekiel 37:1-28. Matthew 24:31. Romans 11:26. The dragon gave him his power, his throne and great authority. Satan directly gave this beast his power. 2 Thessalonians 2:9 says that the lawless one worked miracles, signs, and wonders. The devil gave the world ruler 3 things. 1. Power can refer to miraculous powers, 2 Thessalonians 2:9. Hebrews 2:4. Acts 22:22. 6:8. He will perform miraculous deceptions, 2 Thessalonians 2:9-12. 2. His throne refers to his ruling authority. He is king of the world during the tribulation. 3. Great authority refers to the extent of his rule. His authority extends beyond the 10-nation confederacy. Revelation verse 3. One of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. The whole world was filled with wonder and followed the beast. Revelation verse 3 explained, one of the heads of the beast seemed to have had a fatal wound, but the fatal wound had been healed. To which of the 7 heads does this refer? Revelation 17:8-11 indicates that it is the 7th kingdom. It is the head that was, old Rome, and is not, present Rome, and is about to come, the revived Roman Empire. In verse 2, the beast represents a composite of the kingdoms of Babylon, Greece, and Medo-Persia. So it appears that the beast is the world ruler of future kingdoms, Revelation 13:1, 2. Revelation 17:8, 9. And all the world marveled and followed the beast. The word marveled means to wonder. Satan overcame the whole world by miraculous workings. The phrase all the world indicates that this deception will be worldwide. Maybe they will see this by satellite. This does not necessarily imply that he currently rules over the world. Revelation verse 4, people worshipped the dragon because he had given authority to the beast, and they also worshipped the beast and asked, who is like the beast, who can wage war against it? Revelation verse 4 explained, the healing of the beast's mortal wound causes people to worship the dragon, Satan, and the beast, the world ruler. This is the way that Satan gets people to worship in his counterfeit religion. Their worship extended to the point that they felt that no one could defeat him. In their minds, the beast was invincible. The Bible calls this strong delusion, 2 Thessalonians 2:11. This is the religion of the tribulation. Satan designs all religions to worship him. He wants people to do good independently of God. Revelation verse 5, the beast was given a mouth to utter proud words and blasphemies and to exercise its authority for 42 months. Revelation verse 5 explained, blasphemy of the beast continued for the last 3.5 years of the Great Tribulation. Revelation 11:2, 3. 12:6. 14. Satan gives the beast outstanding speaking ability so that he can persuade people of all cultures. Revelation verse 6, it opened its mouth to blaspheme God, and to slander his name and his dwelling place and those who live in heaven. Revelation verse 6 explained, the beast's religious activity is to blaspheme God and all that he represents. Satan even blasphemes the church in heaven. Revelation verse 7, it was given power to wage war against God's holy people and to conquer them, and it was given authority over every tribe, people, language and nation. Revelation verse 7 explained, the beast made war with the tribulation saints. It will cost many saints their lives to take a stand for God in the tribulation, yet, more people will come to Christ by their death than by their lives. And authority was given him over every tribe, tongue, and nation. The beast rules over the entire world. Daniel 7:23. Revelation verse 8, all inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life, the Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world. Revelation verse 8 explained, the beast also develops a worldwide religion and demands that everyone in the world worship him. 2 Thessalonians 2:4. This is a universal church. The only exception to those who worship him is those who have their names in the book of life. Jesus was not only slain in the first century, he was slain from eternity in terms of God's eternal plan, Ephesians 1:4. Revelation verse 9, whoever has ears, let them hear. Revelation verse 9 explained, John exhorts people who read the book of Revelation to go positive to what he is saying. His challenges to the churches, Revelation chapters 2 and 3, also carried this command. It will be difficult to heed this command under the pressure of the entire world turning to a universal religion. However, there is no invitation to the church here. This is a challenge to the tribulation saints. Revelation verse 10, if anyone is to go into captivity they will go. If anyone is to be killed with the sword they will be killed. This calls for patient endurance and faithfulness on the part of God's people. Revelation verse 10 explained, he who leads into captivity shall go into captivity. He who kills with the sword must be killed with the sword. If a saint listens to the challenge of verse 9, then he may go into captivity or be killed with the sword. The underlying principle here is that of retribution. It is not God's will for believers to take things into their own hands. God will take vengeance on those who persecute believers. He who kills by the sword will die by the sword. The way a person lives is the way they will die. The beast and his troops will die the way they live. This calls for patient endurance and faithfulness on the part of God's people. Believers must exercise great patience, steadfastness of soul, and faith during the tribulation. Patience is not passiveness. It is fidelity in the face of terrible pressure. They operate on faith and not by retaliation. The beast out of the earth. Revelation verse 11. Then I saw a second beast, coming out of the earth. It had 2 horns like a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. Revelation verse 11 explained. We now turn to the second beast of this chapter, the beast out of the earth. This is the religious leader of the revived Roman Empire. The first beast came out of the sea, but the second beast comes out of the earth. Some think that this beast is a Jew from Palestine because of the term earth. There is no evidence for this. The second beast masquerades as a lamb with 2 horns. The 2 horns like a lamb is a difficult phrase to interpret. The horns represent authority. This beast has 2 horns, And the first beast had 10 horns. At the same time, this beast is like a lamb that is a mild creature. This gentle-mannered creature will deceive people with his mild mode of operation. The second beast has special demonic powers of communication, for he can speak like the devil, dragon. Apparently, he is the false prophet who speaks for the first beast. He represents the world's ecumenical religion. He looks like a lamb but speaks like a dragon. He looks like the Lord Jesus, John 1:29. Revelation 5:6, but speaks like the devil. He pawns himself off as the Lamb, the Messiah. The dictator of the revived Roman Empire will eventually destroy this religious system. Revelation 17:16. God will cast him along with the first beast into the lake of fire. Revelation 19:20. 20:10. Revelation verse 12. It exercised all the authority of the first beast on its behalf, and made the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, whose fatal wound had been healed. Revelation verse 12 explained, the second beast does the bidding of the first beast by receiving the delegation of authority of religion. He occupies a secondary role, the false prophet. The second beast is the head of the worldwide ecumenical religion. His purpose is to encourage worship of the dictator of the revived Roman Empire. Revelation verse 13, and it performed great signs, even causing fire to come down from heaven to the earth in full view of the people. Revelation verse 13 explained, the second beast persuades people to worship the first beast by performing miraculous signs. He is a wonder worker. In this, he operates as the personal prophet for the dictator of the revived Roman Empire. The Greek indicates that he repeatedly performs these miracles so that the momentum of wonders occurs. The word great indicates that these will be extraordinary miracles. Present-day miracle fakers are no match for this false prophet. The purpose of these signs is to authenticate the authority of the first beast. Some people think that this fire come down from heaven is an imitation of Elijah's miracle. 1 Kings 18:38. He hopes to confuse biblical miracles with satanic miracles. Revelation verse 14. Because of the signs it was given power to perform on behalf of the first beast, it deceived the inhabitants of the earth. It ordered them to set up an image in honor of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. Revelation verse 14 explained, the second beast sets up an image of the first beast. The book of Revelation refers to many images. Revelation 13:14-15. 14:9. 11. 15:2. 16:2. 19:20. 24. The first beast accepts worship as he sits in the temple in Jerusalem. This is the abomination of desolations of which Daniel and Jesus warned us, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. 2 Thessalonians 2:4. Satan designed the miracles of the second beast to deceive. The word deceive means to wander, mislead, lead astray. The coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this reason, God will send them strong delusion, that they should believe the lie, that they all may be condemned who did not believe the truth but had pleasure in unrighteousness. 2 Thessalonians 2:9-12. Not all miracles are of God, for the second beast performs these miracles in the first beast's presence and authority. Revelation 13:2. No discerning Christian trusts any and every miracle. He or she must ask the question, is this miracle demonic or divine? Revelation verse 15. The second beast was given power to give breath to the image of the first beast, so that the image could speak and cause all who refused to worship the image to be killed. Revelation verse 15 explained, the second beast gives breath and the power to speak to the image of the first beast. This is his second deception. The word image is more than a copy but represents the reality of the thing. This image symbolizes the religious authority of the first beast and is the force behind his worldwide power. This image had the power to convince people to kill those who did not worship the first beast. Revelation verse 16, it also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hands or on their foreheads. Revelation verse 16 explained, the second beast will require everyone to wear the mark of the first beast. All men of every state in life must receive this mark in a prominent place, the forehead. This will easily categorize those who worship the beast and those who do not. The word mark means an impression made by a stamp. The beast will brand, like so many cows, those who belong to him. Revelation verse 17, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name. Revelation verse 17 explained, the second beast restructures the economy of the world. Without this mark, No one could buy or sell even the necessities of life. This will exclude any believer who takes a stand for Christ. By this disenfranchisement, all believers will lose all their civil rights. Many believers will die because they refuse to accept the mark. Revelation verse 18. This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. Revelation verse 18 explained, here is wisdom. There is wisdom in understanding the implications of the mark of the beast. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. His number is 666. The attempts to find hidden meanings in the 666 are legendary. This leads to futile conjecture. Nowhere does the Bible use gematria, mystical interpretation, as a system of interpretation. It does use numbers symbolically, but this is different from gematria. This passage explicitly says that 666 is the number of man. All attempts to identify the name of the world dictator to come by running scenarios of numbers are futile. The word calculate means to reckon, compute, count. The believer must calculate the number of the beast. The mark of the beast has something to do with mankind being central to reality. This is similar to humanism today. Humanism is not humanitarianism. Humanitarianism is simply people helping people in need. Humanism is about mankind being central to reality. Mankind will solve its own problems. People can get along without God. This religion promotes the worship of mankind. Religion takes our eyes off God, the mark of the beast, and he causes all, the small and the great, and the rich and the poor, and the free men and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, and he provides that no one will be able to buy or to sell, except the one who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. And he causes all, the small and the great, and the rich and the poor, and the free men and the slaves, to be given a mark on their right hand or on their forehead, and he provides that no one will be able to buy or to sell, except the one who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. The true worshippers of Antichrist shall receive a mark on their bodies. This seems to be Satan's answer to the mark given to the 144,000 Jewish servants of God introduced in chapter 7. Here is wisdom. Let him who has understanding calculate the number of the beast, for the number is that of a man. And his number is 666. Number of the beast, for the number is that of a man. And his number is 666. Here's another verse for which there are many different opinions. The number of the beast is 666. Perhaps this is the mark of the beast or part of it. Some think that Antichrist's actual name will somehow be numerically equated to the number 666. Others take a more symbolic view, saying that since 7 is the number of completeness or perfection, then 6 represents falling short of perfection. Thus, 666 is a kind of trinity of imperfection. Whatever the true significance of 666 is, I believe the key point being made in this verse is that his number is that of a man, a mere man. Antichrist will join an elite list of individuals who have each occupied a position of enormous world-changing power and influence. Other such people include Nimrod, Gen 10:8-12, Pharaoh, Nebuchadnezzar, Alexander the Great, various Roman emperors, and Hitler. And yet, they were all mortal men who lived for a moment and passed away. Some of them, like the Pharaoh of the Exodus, were expressly created to be vessels of wrath. Romans 9:17, 22-23. And this will also be the case for Antichrist. Despite his reign of terror, he too shall pass away, and he is not the one we should fear. Matthew 10:28. Even if we don't confidently know the meaning of this number, we should at least be careful not to misuse it. For example, Christians shouldn't become superstitious about this number, nor should they become fearful or suspicious of anyone or anything that can somehow be connected with 666. Mark of the beast, more than likely is a microchip implant. This is why I believe it will be a microchip. In 1987 they began microchipping pets, and now is mandatory in many places, and in 1998 by the British scientist Kevin Warwick had himself implanted. He used this implant to open doors, switch on lights, and cause verbal output within a building. This started a new topic for researchers. In early March 2005, hobbyist Amal Grafstra implanted a microchip into his left hand. It was used with an access control system to gain entry to his office. Since then several hobbyists have placed RFID microchip implants into the hands or had them inserted by others. While the majority of these innovations rely on the RFID technology, these have existed for decades. The idea of humans implanted with microchips is no longer science fiction. Soon, You could be pointing directly to a machine and it would dispense your money. The doctor would directly scan the microchip implanted in your body and check your vital signs. By just waving your hand on a door you could unlock it. Microchip implants have evolved from something reserved for researchers to a daily life tool. This implant is inserted in the top of your right hand under the skin and it rests safely between your thumb and finger. In August 2018, 3 Square Market, a technology company that provides self-service mini markets to hospitals, hotels, and company break rooms, roughly 50 employees at its headquarters in River Falls, Wisconsin, who volunteered to have a chip injected into the hand. The chips the employees got are about the size of a very large grain of rice. They're intended to make it a little easier to do things like get into the office, log on to computers, and buy food and drinks in the company cafeteria. Like many RFID chips, they are passive, they don't have batteries, and instead, get their power from an RFID reader when it requests data from the chip. Easy accessibility to medical history through by implanting a chip on a patient's body that could easily access the medical information without much effort. This could prove extremely useful in case of emergencies where the medical history and condition of a patient are needed. The doctors could also examine their patients sitting at their homes. Easy identification through passports, driver's licenses, and so on, which are often used for identification purposes, are increasingly containing microchips. For example, passengers can be identified at an airport by scanning the microchip in their passports. It would require minimal changes in infrastructures at airports, and train and bus stations, to transit from scanned passports to scanned implanted chips. People would be identified easily just by walking past a reader. These microchips could replace the ID cards which are widely used in offices and institutes. Daily works like logging in the system, buying groceries, security keys, ordering items could be easily done through these tags. Easy tracking of persons through this is useful to keep track of persons such as patients, criminals, and children. For example, a criminal who escaped from prison could be tracked with the ID. An implanted microchip would make it significantly easier to track people within the critical time available. Ability to control many devices through an implanted microchip brings a digital identity into the real world by providing the ability to automatically control a large number of devices and equipment. Imagine being able to start your car automatically, open the front door of your house as you approach it. The possibilities are endless. Medical records could be encoded into the microchip, making it easier to access healthcare or determine when you need that booster shot for tetanus. Microchips are already implanted into pets. The TSA could use microchips to speed the screening of passengers for air travel, and the New York City subway could use it to collect fares. Taverns could use a microchip to card underage drinkers without worries about fake IDs. Although voter fraud is virtually non-existent, an implanted microchip could dispel any remaining doubts. The chips cost about $100 and can be used to track people, to allow them to make purchases and even to unlock doors. They are secure and cannot be lost or stolen. They can help facilities keep track of dementia patients. They could also be used to monitor health conditions. About 10 other states have laws against human microchipping, but there are no laws at the federal level. In states without such laws, people can be microchipped against their will or as a condition of their employment. At New Fusion, a Belgium-based company, 8 employees recently volunteered to be chipped, allowing them to enter the company's building and connect to their personal workspace on their computers with just a flick of the hand, Brussels-based Daily Lesoy reports. The first such application was done in Sweden 2 years ago, where the device was developed, but the practice may begin to start spreading to new countries, both inside and outside the workplace. At a time when the disciples of transhumanism, a new kind of Promethean hubris as Dr. Agneta Sutton put it in a 2015 article, are making plans to merge man and machine, it's becoming increasingly urgent that we address these questions. We can start small. Having a microchip inserted under the skin is increasingly the way to go, and nowhere more so than in Sweden. Thousands of Swedes now use the technology, attending implant parties to have chips inserted to replace their gym cards, national IDs and even train tickets. Brandon Dalley shared a video on social media this week showing him having a chip implanted in his right hand and then using the device to unlock his vehicle. The microchip implants that let you pay with your hand. Patrick Pullman causes a stir whenever he pays for something in a shop or restaurant. This is because the 37-year-old doesn't need to use a bank card or his mobile phone to pay. Instead, he simply places his left hand near the contactless card reader, and the payment goes through. The reactions I get from cashiers are priceless, says Mr. Pullman, a security guard from the Netherlands. He is able to pay using his hand because back in 2019 he had a contactless payment microchip injected under his skin. The procedure hurts as much as when someone pinches your skin, says Mr. Porman. And now in the new era, microchips implanted in the human body are replacing wearable electronics. It has been predicted that we will witness the beginning of human microchipping. About 30,000 to 50,000 or more people already have these chips implanted, and their popularity is growing. Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum has stated that by 2030 he wants microchips implanted inside all human bodies. The tribulation is a period of power politics and one world religion. Application: one day a revived Roman Empire will arise out of Western Europe. A world ruler will surface who will be a demon-possessed political dictator of the revived Roman Empire. The revived Roman Empire is made up of a 10-nation confederacy under the authority of a world ruler. We should take note of what is happening in Western Europe. Individual nations are giving their authority to the European community. Christianity is a threat to world religion. Application: during the tribulation, there will be a one world government, one world religion, and one world economic system. Anyone who refuses to conform to these systems will die. This is the devil's final attempt to gain the worship of the world. Christianity is a threat to world religion, because Christianity claims to be mutually exclusive. World ecumenical religion must put it down. Unity at all costs will be the theme of the future to obtain syncretism in religion. World religion must eliminate religions that claim the distinction. The false prophet speaks sweetness and light but deals in death when it comes to Christians. This will require the dissolving of nationalism. Therefore, all nations will surrender their sovereignty to the dictator of the revived Roman Empire. With the mark of the beast, the world will give him global economic power. This will intimidate dissenters to get with the program. The devil uses the system of religion to deceive. He wants mankind to act independently of God. To do this, he systematizes belief as well as behavior. There is nothing more misleading than religion. Religion is the ultimate weapon of the devil. Here we see, as with God, the Trinity, also known as the Triune God or the Three-in-One, is a central Christian belief that God is one, being made up of three persons: the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Here Satan sets up a false trinity: Satan, the Antichrist, and the false prophet,